Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another update on construction progress going on around the Disneyland Resort. And today we've got a little help from a friendly muffin who knows a little bit about constructionizing, and he's gonna. If you hear me say anything intelligent, most likely it's from our friendly neighborhood muffin. So let's get started. One of the things that he noticed is that it looks like right here that they're getting ready to put in some conduit into the Spider-Man building. I guess we don't have to call it the Bugs Life Theater anymore. It's the Spider-Man building. And next week, what I'm going to try to do, I've looked before. I've tried to look in there before to see if I can see anything, but there's a limit to, the zoom capabilities of my camera, which are great, by the way. But there is still a limit. But I'm going to try to see if I can't. Maybe there's, on a better lit day, we'll try it again. Meanwhile, we've been tracking the progress of that, the forms that they had been constructing over here on the right side. They've been appending, a something. And it turns out what that something is likely, some kind of basement or subfloor that's going to continue on towards the bathroom. I haven't noticed this in previous weeks, but you've got these, steel or metal supports that were constructed. They were there last week and possibly the weeks before, but as of a month ago, they were not there. So it does look like, this building is on its way to being connected to the tissue box restroom, as we've discussed in other shows, and that does appear to be their focus at this point. It's that stage plus the earth moving situation they've got going on to the right of the tissue box, and there you can see more of those guys getting ready to. They're still moving dirt around, obviously. Now, I don't know if this is a permanent situation or not, but one thing you can note is a grade change right there. The level of earth has changed. It's now raised. And I think we did reference this last week a little bit, when we saw it look like, when you look at the concrete, on the perimeter of the property that it did, or the land, it did look like perhaps that they had raised that part of it. But they've done that before in Star Wars Land, Galaxy's Edge, where they the grade of Earth had gone up and down in a few areas. So I'm not sure if that's going to be a permanent situation or not, but it's possible we could expect, a change in elevation, of verticality, as Ian had talked about in terms of New Orleans Square, and we've seen it in Galaxy's Edge also, where you were going up and down within the land, which is kind of neat. I like that. We'll continue, and I wanted to see if I can grab. It's kind of hard to catch that area to the right of those trees now, because the support, of the Pixar Pal around blocks my view. You see that? Like I'm trying really hard. We gotta wait to pass it, and there we go. I mean, obviously, it's still just dirt again today, but we are gonna have to watch this a little closer.
It does look really small.
So small.
Well, Bugs Land was small.
Are they gonna expand it more?
This is
It's
supposed to be
small
phase
land.
one. But they
It
haven't-
really is, right? It's small. I mean, it is phase one, but it's small. It's not a big land yet.
Some people say behind, Tower of Terror. Some say the back lot. I'm a back lot guy myself.
All right, we'll turn around and look at Emotional Whirlwind, and the most obvious thing that I noticed when we were there is the sound of sandblasting. There were guys sandblasting there. You can see them in the right-hand corner there, sandblasting all over the place in the area, and that is being done to give the ground texture, which is kind of neat. I didn't know that that's how they did that. Area right here, we kind of observed this last week, trying to figure out what they're doing. We're being told that is an exit ramp for the attraction that they're starting to build, and you can see it's sort of an elevation change. At least it looks like it, possibly. But that is, I guess we'll exit the attraction, turn left onto the ramp, and then right, I'm guessing. And that actually does help us, if we go back to the concept art once again, to maybe visually tell us or clue us into what we're seeing. For the longest time, I wanted to put this thing, the purple area, in that section, but that is actually going to be behind it now. You can see there's kind of a path winding behind the you know, where Anger is. I never noticed that Anger's there. It looks like part of this concept art, the exit is going to curl around behind the purple structure. So that actually does make a little more sense if what we're seeing is the case. You can also see they put down like a plastic wrap over specific areas. Unsure what that is yet, though it's likely it's either to protect the concrete from the sandblasting, like they don't want to texture that area, or part of the coloring process for that concrete, because we had talked about before that there's a difference. You know, they poured one area then another in order to give it two different colors or two different textures. We're not sure which, but I mean, it does look like that poly or that wrap is being used to help define that area. That was all you could hear was the sandblasting when you were in that area. There he is again right there. Since last week, it looks like they've started to paint that area behind. You've got some purple trim on the top there. That was not there last week. So we are going to start seeing some definition applied to the some actual color, some actual design. All right, let's go to Mark Twain. We've been watching them redo this queue for the longest time. Initially I thought this was just going to be paint and trim, but they did pour new concrete. Last week we saw that it was completely ripped up, and they had some areas dug out for probably electrical or conduit or something of that nature. And again, like at Emotional Whirlwind, part of the concrete has been poured and part of it has not, intentionally, we would assume, likely to provide a different texture or a different color or possibly even a different material. Instead of all concrete, maybe they're going to put, wood down or something like that. However, having said that, you've got rebar, laying there, which is likely that suggests concrete. I don't know if they put rebar underneath wood, or even faux wood for that matter. But I would expect probably most likely it is a different texture or a different color of concrete to help sort of create a defined area. Guests use that as a visual clue as to where to stand, where to be ready for boarding the attraction. Meanwhile, elsewhere in Frontierland, you've got construction walls out up against the gift shops, the Frontier, the Pioneer Mercantile, etc. And there's even one around, and it does include the area around the Halloween tree. Now, I don't expect, the fear is that they might, do some of that Project Stardust stuff to the planter for the Halloween tree. I don't think they're going to remove the tree. I just think that it's actually more likely going to be facade work, and that's just where they had to extend the walls. And there's another wall blocking the path into Adventureland. Moving over to the Cleo parking structure next to Mickey and Friends. Last week we had asked why they were, what the trenches were dug. Same reason, likely conduit or something of that nature, electrical. And then you'll see there was the same thing going on at the guest tub area as well. Also electrical or irrigation. And these guys right here that they've got staged, probably formwork for planners. I would expect lots more of that, actually. If you recall from the concept art, there are copious amounts of trees headed for the parking structure, so that is likely. Plus, stuff growing around the guest hub as well. So we'll see a lot of that happening in short order. It's 10 weeks to go, and we have we should start seeing stuff like trees being placed, concrete poured, planters being put in place, and trees happening. as well as light fixtures and things like that, which is why we're seeing, you know, the trenches dug up for those light fixtures, you know, the light poles. And then we'll end with this close-up of a guy working on the topper for the guest hub. But we're not done yet. Let's go back to Disneyland. Take a look at the Sleeping Beauty Castle. They moved the walls out. The walls originally were at curbside. Now they have moved them another, I don't know how far, 15 feet inward. So it's occupying actually part of the street now at this point. Watch out for that guy right there to be repainted also. Just saying, because it's now a different color. That's the old color, that kind of a teal color. When we saw them painted before, they looked more blue. There's a closer look at how the walls have encroached onto the streets around the hub. And if we take a look inside through the knotholes, you can see dirt. Look at that. They've dug up. That's a shot right down Main. That's the bridge right there into the castle. And they have dug up the street. Most likely, this is a Project Stardust type deal. Most likely, they are repaving and getting rid of the curb. There isn't much else that you can do here. You can't make it wider or more roomy. It's already as roomy as it's going to get, so that's probably going to they're going to lose the curb. Astro Orbiter, nothing else new here. Same as it's been. However, they have changed the walls. They've moved the walls out on Peter Pan. Last week they weren't. You know, they had stopped at the heraldry gift shop, the Christmas gift shop, and it's now into the Peter Pan queue area, which is interesting. And then finally, our last shot is no progress at all on the area that they're redoing for New Orleans Square, but we're not going to see anything here until it's done, I don't think, and then it'll surprise us. So there you go, Fresh Baked. That is our update from around the parks today. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned tomorrow for more from Galaxy's Edge. Until then, Fresh Baked. We've got lots more videos for you to see, so grab a churro and check out some of our other videos and have your mind blown by how much fun we're having. We truly are the best of Disney Bake Fresh Daily. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you next time. Fresh Baked!